Welcome back to the Overland build series, guys. We're going to go through and install a full-length roof rack on my surf today, so let's go ahead and roll that intro. Owning a 185 surf can be a bit painful at times because aftermarket manufacturers weren't really that interested in it. They would far rather the larger Prado or Land Cruiser Prado, because it's got the Land Cruiser name, right? So us surf owners kind of got left behind without bull bars, rear bars, and most importantly roof racks to carry all our stuff. We all love a stylish slimline design that sort of follows the curvature of the roof. They just look sick, you know, combat racks, that kind of thing. Sherpa Equipment in the States build these for the 185 surfs, however, well, the third gen 4Runners over there. However, they're $1,000 USD plus shipping to get here, so that's way out of my price range. Luckily for us though, a lovely guy named Campbell actually goes through and manufactures these in the North Island. This is one of his, and we're gonna go through, teach you how to install one of these today. To find him, check out the link in the description below, otherwise Surf96 Hilux on Instagram, hit him up. The installation of one of these roof racks is relatively simple. Campbell does send out basic instructions so that you can sort of follow along and DIY it at home. If you're not really up to that, then, well, keep watching. We're going to go through and install the whole thing, show you piece by piece what to do to get it onto your roof. First of all, your wind deflector. This one, of course, sits right at the front and pushes all the wind up over the roof rack itself. You're going to want to go through and install, if it's not already installed, the cross beam that runs in behind it. Mine came installed, as well as this rubber seal that can sort of course, sit on your roof so you're not scratching anything and keep the wind from out under there, stop it from whistling, basically. So that's all prepped and ready to rumble. The next part you want to do is go through and build each bracket. It's going to have two arms, one that holds it onto the roof and one that holds it onto the roof rack. Most of mine came pre-assembled with loose bolts, but we'll go through, touch these up and make sure they've all got everything they need. It's worth to note that when you're actually going to go through and install these, that you're taking sort of caution as to which bolt's which. You're going to have a couple bolts in there. One's slightly longer than the other one. These longer ones is what's going to be mounting the bracket of the base onto the bracket of your rack. Nylock nuts on the back end here. Nice easy stuff, right? Just to where it starts to lock so we can still move it around and install it however we like. The long slender pointy end of your side track here, or your side piece, is going to go towards the front of course, and the forwardmost cross member is going to have a rubberized foot. This is due to the fact that the rear of it is all going to be seated using the original surf racks, or surf, what do we call them? Sliders, runners? Your stock runners, basically. We're going to unbolt these, slide this piece of metal in underneath and clamp it down, whereas the front is just going to have to sit on our roof. So, rubberized piece, forwardmost cross member. We're now just going to go through and build our cross members. These long aluminium straights are going to run in between our sides here, and of course, actually build the structural integrity and build those flat parts which I can then mount my tent to. So we're going to go through and add our feet onto these. They will fit in these runners. So the 3 mounting runners are done. I've got the 5 leftovers that are actually going to mount along these long horizontal ones here. So we can interchange them and swap them around how we like. Worth noting though that the forwardmost one with the rubber feet actually mounts vertically, whereas the rest have been horizontally. Let's get mounting. It's probably the easier way to do this. If yours is like mine, it could be worth just taking the mounting bolts out one at a time as you slide the runner along. You can now slide him in and along and put that bolt back where it came from. I do have to say, it is a little fiddly, so be patient, you'll get there. There we are. We now move it up and down, side to side how we like, and try and center everything. Now for the front half. So we'll do the same thing. I'm going to remove that first one, because it's a lot easier to slide these in without it. We now fit that in there without a hassle. So a little fiddly, but it's worth it. This is a seriously cool roof rack. Far better than any just sort of, I don't know, I like the look of it. You may not, but this is the kind of style I've wanted for a very long time. So this is where it starts to get a little fiddly. We want our plates here, a minimum of about 97 apart, which is an absolute minimum, which surprisingly is almost at the limit of the stock tracks. That's by utilizing the individual runners here, so we can still place our actual cross members in between anywhere we like. Next one is your snorkel. If you've got a stainless steel snorkel like mine, it's going to be very tight and maybe even impossible to fit this if you've got a custom one to the roof. Mine is just going to do it, but it's something to be aware of if you're really wanting one of these and already got a stainless, or wanting one of these and yet to get a stainless. Get one of these first so you can build your stainless around it, if that makes sense. But we'll try our best to try and fit this now, but it's fiddly. So we're going to go ahead and get 2 bolts on each side. Now, as I said, it's still at its lowest, so it's actually just sitting on the roof right now. If you're a bit cautious about your paint, maybe put a towel down or something. I probably should have, because I've just painted this, but it's not too bad. Once we get these 2 side in, then we can lift the whole thing up to a height that we like. Something like that, just off the roof kind of thing. But before I go any further, I am going to put the front one in first with those rubber mounts. That may set the height for us. So let's do that. Right. Ooh, that pretty much marks it. She's solidly on there now. Now it does take a bit of fiddling. There's so much to adjust here. You got to be patient with it. But eventually we'll get it sitting in a sweet spot. Do be aware of clearances, particularly stainless steel snorkel, and of course the boot, hence why I've got it open right now. And I am a millimeter from clearing that and that. So she's a bigger roof rack, which means lots of stuff can go up there, but do beware of your clearances. She's mounted solidly. Not bad, not bad. I'm actually super happy with it. I love the look of these slim lines sort of hugging the body, rounded to the shape. Absolutely love the look of them. So I guess the next thing to do is probably go test the wind noise. That's the worst thing when you get a new roof rack and find out it just whistles like all hell. So let's jump in the truck, go for a blast, and see what we find out. So good news, no whistles. So that little piece of rubber there does at the front, if that wasn't there, then of course you're gonna have this little gap where the wind's just gonna howl through there. So we're cruising right now at about 80k an hour, no real wind noise coming from the roof. There's a very small amount. So I actually rate this thing bloody good. I'm happy with it. There's probably no really any more wind noise than I'd normally have with the Pro Rack I had on before. Once you get the Feldon Shelter back on top, it's going to be able to be a bit of a different scheme. Plus then MaxTrax and boxes. But as the roof rack itself, 90k now, bring it up to 100. I actually closed the sunroof properly. Very little wind noise, I barely even know it's there. Mean, highly recommend. Summer! If anything, I definitely noticed the snorkel intake more because I got that plate right up next to it, sort of just directing the noise into my window. So when the turbo goes on, she's probably going to be pretty noisy out here, which could be a bad thing because I love driving with the windows down. We'll see. Well guys, I personally am loving the look the Surf has now. It is wicked little combat rack style. Very, very cool. Hit up Surf96 Hilux on Instagram. He's the one that built these, designed these, and ships these out. Let him know you want one. He's going to have a run going again eventually. COVID and stuff, everything's delayed, so we'll see how it goes. But grab one from him if you want one. Otherwise, guys, you can buy my shirts on my website, lostshipadventures.co.nz. There's also beanies and stickers. So go have a browse, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers, team. You're looking beautiful, truck. Whoo-wee. I like it.